Just a day before ex-IRS official Lois Lerner apologized for Tea Party targeting, new emails surfacing that show the IRS and the Justice Department were actually talking about investigating just those groups. Townhall.com news editor Katie Pavlich. On top of it all, we got Texas Congressman Blake Farenthold here as well on his idea now to keep Ms. Lerner from getting paid, period. All right, Katie, to you first. What's going on here? What do these emails reveal?
Well, these emails, Neil, that were obtained by Judicial Watch through a Freedom of Information request show that Lois Lerner was in contact with the Department of Justice and high players in the Department of Justice at that about the prosecution, criminal prosecution of tax-exempt groups who they said may have lied on their forms when applying for tax-exempt status. Now, she then sent this email to the former chief of staff of the former IRS commissioner, once again not a low-level employee in Cincinnati, asking her how the IRS could help with this. That woman wrote back and said that she thought that they should help. And so this shows not only that the Justice Department was involved here in inquiring about prosecution, but also that there were very high-level people in both the IRS and the Department of Justice outside of Lerner involved in this case.
Even as she was about to apologize for this whole mess and making it seem, that her fifth, notwithstanding, that this was ancient history.
Exactly.
Okay, Congressman, you're saying just that alone is yet another reason to stop paying her.
Well, listen, this is not some banana republic where you get thrown in jail for disagreeing with the oligarchy. This is the United States of America. We deserve better. And unfortunately, I don't believe for a second Eric Holder is going to go after Lois Lerner for the contempt that I suspect will be voted against her in Congress in a couple of weeks. We've got to have some way of getting at people who are in contempt of Congress, and withholding their paychecks is one way to do it.
All right, so careful what you wish for, though, Congressman, right? Because if the roles were reversed and it was a Democratic Congress that had problems with a Republican administration official answering to a Republican cabinet agency in their investigation held in said contempt, would you endorse having their pay knocked as well?
I would. What's right is right, Neil. You need to cooperate with Congress. We've got co-equal branches of government, but Congress is basically dependent on the Justice Department or the courts to go through with contempt.
You know, Katie, I'm wondering if these emails now sort of get us past the process whether she'll ever testify or not, because the emails are screaming to take it at face value, and she could be in trouble already whether she testifies or not.
I think she is in big trouble, and up until this point, outside of offering immunity, the goal has been to kind of get the facts based on these emails, but it's been very, very difficult to do. You know, this is a year after this scandal broke, and we're just now seeing these emails coming forward, and it goes to the question of Lois Lerner wasn't the only one involved here, and especially when it comes to the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice is supposed to be investigating what went on with the IRS. So now Senator Ted Cruz is calling for a special prosecutor to look into this because clearly there's a conflict of interest. And I should point out real quickly that Lois Lerner also admitted in another set of emails that were released with this batch that she couldn't confirm that there were any liberal groups on the other side of the aisle that were targeted. So these criminal prosecutions were only going to come down on conservative Tea Party groups.
Yeah, we were trying to look for these liberal groups supposedly targeted, and not a one could be found. But that's neither here nor there. Congressman, you're just saying there's enough here to at least withhold her pay.
Well, unfortunately, Ms. Lerner has resigned. Would have to go after her retirement. Eric Holder, who is in contempt of Congress, he's one whose pay would cut off if this were to happen, if my bill were to pass, or if there was something put in the appropriations bills that will be coming through this summer.
We'll watch it closely. Congressman, I want to thank you, Katie, as always.